you've ever felt stuck, lost, or like you're meant for more, guess what? You are. No, I'm just kidding. But today we're diving in. No fluff, no playing small, just straight up truth, transformation, and the kind of coaching that shakes you awake. I love empowerment coaching because my love life isn't waiting for you to be ready. I know it's hard. It's hard for us to get our heads around that. It's going to keep moving no matter where or how you decide to move with it. It's happening right now. So let's take a deep breath. Let's put 2 feet on the floor. Let's root to rise. Let's stand tall, metaphorically speaking, right now, and let's get to work because this is Simply Woman, the podcast, and it starts right now.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome to Simply Woman. I'm Crystal Andrus Morissette, and I've said it before, but this isn't just a podcast. This really is a safe place for raw, real, transformational, on the spot empowerment coaching. In every single episode, we are right here live in our Simply Woman recording studio. And every single episode, I'll be coaching women live, women just like you and me, us, women who are ready to break free from whatever mental constraint. And it really might feel like a physical constraint because things manifest physically, but they always first start in the brain and in the thoughts and in the spirit, good and bad. It's time for us to reclaim our energy, right? Our energy. And that really means reclaim our power, our light, our brightness, our right to be joyful, happy, and vibrantly alive in our lives right now, today. It's time to step into the woman that you were always meant to be, that I was always meant to be. And right now, women are in our Simply Woman recording studio. They're stepping into this moment with me. Like I said last week, they don't even know what's going to happen because I don't even know what's going to happen. But I know they are ready. Here's the best part. You might hear your own story. That's what's so beautiful about just even being a fly on the wall right now, listening into a coaching conversation, because you might find a breakthrough that you didn't even know you needed. Because the truth is, transformation doesn't happen for just the woman I'm coaching. It happens for me. That's why I love this as a career choice, because you don't have to be perfect. You have to be able to meet a woman where she's at. You don't have to be perfect as a coach, that's for sure. But here's what's so incredible about it is every time you meet a woman where she's at and you remember who you are and you help remind her of who she really is, wow, every single one of us who chooses to listen, to watch, to feel what's happening, to be a part of the energy, we all rise. Right before we went into record mode here, I had one of my clients who has been in my world for many, many years, and we've just decided to do some coaching in the last couple of weeks, last couple months, really. And Janet came on today and she said, you know what? I know I have a coaching call lined up with you soon, but I'm ready. Let's do it today. Let's see where this takes us. Because I can promise you, just like Janet and I just getting started really in her next year of coaching with me, this year of coaching with me, this is just the beginning for you too. So, Janet, if you feel comfortable, you can go ahead and unmute your line and say, hi, Crystal, I'm here.
So I'm here.
I can ask everybody who's in the recording studio right now to send us just a little extra love to, you can see Janet in the gallery view. For those of you that are watching, you can just for a pause say, wow, Janet has a lot of courage. I'm going to send her a lot of my love right now. Just going to send her some great energy my way. We're all going to do that. So, Janet, what's going on in your world? And I would love to be able to support you, even if you're not even 100% sure why you said yes. Let's just go for it and see where it takes us.
Well, I was going to say, I don't even know why I said yes, because I'm like, I should back out. I should back out. I should back out.
But something in you felt courageous enough today to say, yay. What was that? Like, let's just not even overthink it. The truth is, just start with that. The truth is, Crystal, the truth is,
I mean, your intro was perfect because is I'm feeling stuck in life. So many areas.
Yeah, there's a laugh of truth. Ladies, those of you who've done coaching with me for a while know there's this like spontaneous tears that come and spontaneous little giggles that come. And I just want to always tell you as a coach, somebody laughs like that, it's actually the nervous system. The body is so brilliant that those little laughs, because I'll tell you when I first decided I needed to understand this. By the way, Janet, we're coming back to you. We're just doing some empowerment coaching as well right now. Um, I was doing an interview and the host was asking me some questions about something in my life that was extremely painful and it caused me a lot of pain. And as I talked, I just told the story and didn't think about it. But afterwards, someone who watched it said, it hurt me and it jolted me. And then it made me want to understand why I do that and why I see other people doing it all the time. And she said, I can't believe you were talking about something so traumatic, like being sexually abused. And you had like kind of a smile on your face the whole time. And I said, I mean, it was an email that was sent to me and it made me think, I need to understand. And I watched it back and realized we do that. Number one, that's a little bit different. That smile of just like yours, because we're actually trying to soften what we're saying for ourselves. Our own brain needs to actually be like, okay, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. I can get through. We're also so aware of not wanting to be jolting for other people that we kind of want to soften it and be lovely and be self. It's kind of like, it wasn't so bad. And I survived. And now look at me now. And I got my great sweater on. So everything's good. But those little laughs of truth and tears of truth are more like when you go to a comedy act or you're watching a movie and something is almost so little bit extra that it's just enough to make you laugh your head off because there's truth to it. And then you're like, they add that little extra that you can't help but laugh. So that's another way that we find ways of like kind of dealing with our own stress. That's what comedians do. They take sometimes really stressful situations, they put a spin on it. We all laugh at ourselves. Laughter is the best medicine. So why Janet just had that little laugh of, I'm really stuck in life in a lot of areas. She doesn't actually think it's funny. By the way, I just want to say it's her body's way of saying, well, it's not so bad. Don't worry. So Janet, thank you already for letting me do a whole breakdown on the laugh of truth after 5 words. Back to you, Janet. So let's use that word stuck because a lot of women use that word when they first come to coaching and even after they've been in coaching for years, but have stepped away because it is always once you've stepped away for a little bit. You very rarely are going to feel stuck after a coaching call, but you are going to feel stuck sometimes before one. Because really, what empowerment coaching, it's very different than life coaching. It is not a to-do list, and not that every single modality doesn't have a brilliant place. It does. But what we do is we really try to help someone have a shift in perception. This is not spiritual bypassing. This is a shift in the way that they're looking at themselves, a problem, a situation, a struggle, so that they can see that there's other choices in here so that we don't have to feel so stuck. Because stuck is one of the biggest words. So what Janet just said is really universal. So Janet, if you could put 2 feet on the ground and take a big breath, and it didn't make you a bad mom. I don't know why I just threw mom in first. I should have just, no, should is guilt. I shouldn't have done anything. I should have just trusted myself. If it didn't make you a bad mom, it didn't make you a bad daughter. It didn't make you a bad wife, a bad worker, a bad employee, a bad woman. It didn't mean anything about you. And you could just let yourself drop down out of your busy brain because the brain is always thinking, but it's not feeling. And it can't tell you what you feel, by the way. It doesn't know. In fact, if you ask your brain, why am I dumb? Your brain doesn't go, girl, don't talk like that about yourself. You're not dumb. Your brain is a Google, like a search engine. So it'll just go, well, the reasons that you're dumb is because you blah, 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 blah. And it will tell you all the reasons. So if we don't know how to ask ourselves the right questions, or we don't have a coach that knows how to ask the right questions, the coach could say, how are you feeling? And you could just go, I feel stuck. And then we could just stay in that. Or I feel amazing, when the truth is, under the surface, it didn't make me a bad woman. It didn't mean anything about me. It just meant I could tell myself the truth so I could get unstuck. What am I really feeling? So, Janet, if it didn't make you mean anything about you, good or bad, there's no story attached to it, good or bad. And you could tell yourself the truth, because out of that place, magic happens. What are you feeling in your body? And it might be a physical sensation you could identify. It might be a color. It might be a emotion. Like, you might actually be able to say, I feel sad, or I feel angry, or I feel afraid. But it doesn't always have to be an emotion, because a lot of times women don't know what the emotion is. They just know the feeling. So what are you feeling?
It's a lot of anxiety.
Okay, so let's say with that word, even, like, let's drop out of your brain, because your brain, forgive me if anything I ever say is triggering. The brain comes up with the word anxiety, but the body doesn't actually feel. It would be like, what does that feel like? What does that anxiety feel like inside you?
Like um like a churning in my stomach.
Churning.
Like a,
Yes.
like a, I don't know. It's
Stay with it. Stay in your body. Don't come up into your brain. Come back down to your body. Let's all of us, let's imagine we could all do this, because this is what's so beautiful about energy. We can all actually kind of, if Janet would give us permission, kind of feel this with her. We can all kind of say, like, can you drop down into your body, and can you feel anxiety? You don't have to be resonating there. You can feel a feeling without becoming the emotion, by the way. I do this all the time when I'm coaching someone. I go there with them. Okay, I'm going to feel that feeling with you. We're both going to feel it, churning. Oof, anxiety. You know what I'm feeling, Janet? How I picture it? Almost like oh my God, the swirling. Oh my God, it's swirling. There's a swirling. Oh my God, it's going to suck you down. You're going to drown. Like, it's going. It's like the spiral is spiraling. You're spiraling the sink, but it's the drain. That's what churning feels like to me, but maybe that's spiral. What does churning feel like to you, Janet? Churning.
it is
Describe
like
it to me.
spiraling. It's like a starting in the throat, and it just come from throat to, I would say, solar, sacral,
Solar,
even go as far as sacral. That
sacral. Okay, I'm going to tell you something. It can spiral. Here's Crystal, and she's so glad that she's in her own, and she's not on like some channel. It'll go right to your butthole, actually. Zillah just laughed. And no, we got to mute your line. It will go right to your butthole. Here's why: because it's actually your vagus nerve you're talking about. It's a physical thing. So it starts right in the back of your neck, connected to your brain, and it's the longest nerve. It's a nervous system thing we're talking about, Janet. So it is connected from the back of your head, and it goes right down through your throat, like you said. It starts in your throat, and it runs all the way down your body, and it goes all the way to your pelvic area, to your root chakra, to your butt. In fact, I remember one time years ago, I was so mad that I actually said, I'm so angry I could just shit myself right now. And we all laughed. Everyone around me, we laughed so hard that it broke the ice, because I was just like, "Ooh." And I was like, that is actually, that's your vagus nerve. Your nervous system will go right down to your butt. It's like that feeling of like it. And this is why feelings are felt in the body. So the first thing I want to encourage you to do is to breathe into the churning, go to it, don't run from it, because everything in life will stay until it's addressed. Everything. Nothing just leaves on its own. What we resist persists is what Carl Jung said. And Crystal love adding, I added a little extra to it. And we accept changes. So what we resist persists and what we accept changes. So Janet, let's try this. Just try saying this out loud with me. Close your eyes and just breathe into that place for a minute. The churning. I bet it's already dissipating a bit because we're talking about it. I know that's how beautiful energy is. I accept that I feel churning right now from my throat all the way down to my gut. I accept this churning.
Accept this churning.
And I accept that this is just the way my body is telling me that it's feeling fear. I'm just breathing into that. So let's just do a quick check-in now on a scale of 1 to 10, the churning where it was, say 4 or 5 minutes ago. And Janet, you can just let me know to the level that it was now, where it was, to say, how is the churning now? Is it slowing down a bit?
Yeah, quite a bit.
Take a big deep breath and then just blow out fear. And I accept that the churning is slowing down. And I accept that it's actually just a physiological response to an old trigger. It's old stuff. You can open your eyes, Janet. I accept that this is old stuff that's coming up for me. You can say it out loud to me.
I accept that this is old stuff coming up for me.
How does that feel when you say that?
Feels true.
Yeah, feels true to me too. And I bet you everyone that's on right now live with us, even if you're listening as the podcast replay, we can all feel truth. Every one of us. Like if we just allow ourselves to get out of our busy brains, and as a coach, just to say, let me go here with you. So we can feel that feeling without becoming fear. That you just did it. You got to let yourself feel that rather than, because Janet, how long has that feeling been in there? Like, has it been there all day?
Maybe a month.
Okay. So for a month, your body's been asking you to acknowledge it. And for a month, what have you been doing with that churning feeling?
Watching Netflix.
Did you just notice her nice smile?
I didn't laugh.
She couldn't stop herself. So we all find ways to distract ourselves. We all find ways to protect ourselves when we feel things in the body we don't want to feel. And no one ever taught us just how to feel it. Like I spent so much of my life like so afraid of anything getting messy, any relationship getting messy, because oh my God, what if people aren't happy? Oh my God, what if somebody isn't feeling good? Like I can't deal with other people around me not feeling good. And if the people around me don't feel good, then I can't feel good. That's called codependency. So, Janet, what has been at the base of what you've been feeling? Like underneath that feeling of the churning and watching the Netflix, and what do you think is under it? And it might not be that, but what do you feel is kind of at the root of this anxiety or the fear, the churning right now?
Well, it's my health.
Okay. Let's talk about that.
And then my daughter and the relationship her and I have, and the one that she doesn't have with my husband. And I feel kind of I'm codependent. I'm just discovering that I'm codependent. I'm listening to some things these last few days and I'm going, my husband and I are attached at the hip. And because he's having difficulty with my daughter, I feel somehow I don't know how I'm supposed to feel. It's crazy, I know, but
no, it's not. It's really something that as mothers, most of us experience until we're taught differently. But listen, you don't have to be a mother to be codependent. My goodness. Like there are so many women that are just going through life and we're at work and it's like, well, if the people around me aren't happy, it's really hard for me to be happy and I don't know how to feel. So, and here's why, Janet, and I've struggled with it too. So you're talking to someone who has to make a conscious, mindful effort to remind myself of what is mine. And what I mean by that is what is my energy, meaning what are my emotions? Because we can almost take those words and like energy, emotions, consciousness, empowerment, they're almost all the same in the context of how we're using it. So we have to be aware of like, what are my emotions and like, what am I responsible for? So, Janet, you are responsible for how you feel. That's a big one that I've had to learn too. Like, but I'm responsible. Even when I'm really angry and I want to shit myself, I'm still responsible for those feelings. Like they're still my anger. However, it got there, even if we believe it's justifiable and righteous anger. Like we've all heard about righteous anger. And so there's a place for that in terms of climbing to empowerment. We wouldn't want to stay in righteous anger because you would just kill ourselves with anger. It would implode on us. And then what is theirs? What is yours and what is theirs? So what is your emotions, your energy, what you have control over, what you can even have any that you, and then what is not yours? And then what is not yours? It's really hard for you to get your head around that. That's your husband's responsibility to feel and deal with his own emotions. Because you also said something, and it might have just been a little, you said my daughter instead of like our daughter. Is it the same father? It's
No.
like, oh, so it's your daughter before.
Yeah, Steve doesn't have any kids, but he's been in our lives for almost 20 years. So
Okay. So he's been in your life for 20 years. And how old is your daughter?
she is going to be 29 and the other one's 31.
Okay. Really close to me,
Mhm.
like you and I have very similar paths. Like I've been with Aaron for nearly 20 years and we got together when the kids were the same age that you and your husband got together, and he doesn't have children of his own. So I will tell you from experience that probably one of the hardest things that I ever went through in my life, and I've been through terrible things, is dealing with the relationship between my husband and my daughter.
Mm.
So you just came to the right place today because I remember thinking like but here's the great news is that this was 10 years ago when my kids were teenagers and you're dealing with it with a 29 or a 31-year-old and they're grown ass women now. And it is really not your job to be in the middle of that in any way, shape, or form. It is nothing to do with you. And that's hard to get your head around.
It is.
I know it's really hard because you might be like, but so we're going to come back to you. I promise you. So I just want to say, like, I remember at one point, honestly, Janet, I can't even believe I'm going to be so bold as to say this. I went through the darkest nights of the soul in my 40s, trying to manage my marriage and my children. And all the pain of my past seemed to compound at that time with their dysfunction. And it doesn't surprise me that your health is suffering at a time when you're trying to navigate people that you love who don't like each other. It's hard. Like you love your daughters and you love your husband, and they don't love each other. Now, your husband is going to say what my husband would say. Of course, I love them. I love them. They're mine. They're my children too. In fact, if I were to say my kids, that's why I kind of heard that because I think Aaron would say our kids and it's our granddaughter. We have a little baby Freya Bloom now. So like he would never say your granddaughter, baby Freya Bloom. I'm so excited to be a grampy. And now he gets to actually feel like he has child family. Like it's something different is shifting. It's a beautiful thing that's happening. So I'm hearing you say my daughter, which does bring me to pride. Whenever we use the word my, which I do it too, my baby Freya Bloom, and my children, my school, and my clients, and my coaching process. So it is hard sometimes to bust through what I call, and I teach you, and maybe you haven't gotten to that lesson yet because Janet has signed up to be a personal empowerment coach. We don't know if it's going to happen. Janet's like, don't even say that. What do you say? Don't say that. We don't know. Nobody needs to know that. That's probably never going to happen. But she did sign up for it. So we shall see what happens with Janet. But
3 times.
3 times she keeps signing up for it. Maybe it's now is the lucky time. 3 is the magic charm. So Janet, there's something called the shame pride loop that I teach about. And it's sort of like we get ourselves to imagine, like, emotionally something happens and your husband and your daughter, they're going at it. Like they give me a little scenario. Like, you don't have to tell me what he said and then she said, because none of that matters with this type of coaching. It's not therapy. It's not the past where we go, then what did he say? Oh, that's, and what did she say? I mean, we can do that. The truth is, Janet, you could sit for hours and tell me all the things and the thing, and then he said that, and then I could be like, ooh. And sometimes when you first start coaching someone, you need to give them. But I've been in your world for a while, so the ladies here might be like, "How are you moving past the issue that quickly?" But I already know sort of the issue, which is, Janet, why don't you give us the very quick Cliff's Notes version, or as we would say here in Canada, Cole's Notes version of what's going on in your world. So you've been with Steve 20 years. You talked about your health. You talked about your daughter. Give us the sort of the what's happening.
There was just a quick there was some family issues with the younger daughter that I'm talking about, and in Steve's mind, she was very mean to me during a very difficult health issue that I'm still going through, and she wasn't nice to me, so he figures he can't forgive her. And I'm like, well, I'm willing to, because I want to move past this, right? I don't want to be stuck in what she said a year ago. Hurt people, right? So she's hurt. Somehow she didn't get what she needed in her life, and she wanted to make sure she knew that, she felt that she knew that she wanted me to know that that's how she felt. The only way she felt like she could talk to me was by being mean.
Let me ask you, that's very wise, the way you're describing that. That takes a lot of insight and wisdom, the way you're describing that. Like, my daughter was really hurt, and clearly things have happened. And for some reason, when I was going through, but break it down. What happened? So you find out, let's tell the ladies, you find out you have cancer.
Yeah.
And
stage 4, yeah.
Stage 4 cancer. And I'm already hearing the wise woman energy, maybe a little mother energy doing me, but it's okay. Like, I have stage 4 cancer, and it was hard for my daughter. It was hard for my 30-year-old daughter, or my 25-year-old daughter. I don't mean it to sound like that. Now I'm going to validate you, Janet. Here's the validation part. Coaches, this is how we validate. That is mean. Like, you find out you have stage 4 cancer. And what I'm really hearing as I write that down is, my husband worries that I struggle with guilt. This is another wise. My husband worries that I struggle with guilt. And I feel guilty for stuff. I don't really even know what I feel guilty about, but somehow as a mother, I feel guilty. And I'm sick, and I just want everyone to get along, and I just want to forgive her, and I just want everyone to get along, and I just want to be healthy, and I don't want to be angry, and I don't want you to be angry. Can't we all just get along? God damn it.
Yep.
Yeah. And so he's saying,
wasn't good in our household growing up. We didn't deal with conflict when I was growing up. It would just be like, just shut up and let the topic fall away. And that's kind of
how you deal. That's how you learned how to deal with things.
Yeah.
And again, I want to, Crystal isn't filtered, so stuff comes out of my mouth sometime, and I can only speak to the experience of that I know of. as a very white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, it's called a WASP. And it's a cultural thing where a lot of WASPs do not talk about family secrets. We don't talk about things. We often don't show emotions. Secrets are secrets. Family is family. Blood is thicker than water. Shut your mouth. Get along. If you have nothing nice to say nothing at all and suck it up, buttercup. Very. And we don't fight. It's really funny. People from other cultures find our culture like really shocking. It's like everybody's lovely. Then we leave, we cry our eyes out on the drive home. Then we get on the phone when we get home and talk about that person to everybody else. We talk about, oh, this is my bad brat kid. And then we cry our eyes out with other people. And then our husbands are like, I'm going to fight for you because you're not standing up to anybody. And I'm going to fight the fight for you. And then you have to be like, Steve, stop it. Now I'm going to get a fight with you too, but I don't talk to you either. So I'm going to stonewall you. I'm going to stonewall everybody. We'll just run to the bathroom and lock the door. And then maybe in an hour, everybody will settle down and I'll creep out and it'll have passed. And then nobody will ever talk about it. And then we'll all get together at the next family dinner. We'll have anxiety for 3 weeks, knowing that we have to see each other. We will get there. Our stomach will be churning. We will want to shit ourselves. The vagus nerve is like, this is not a safe place. Being with family is not safe. I need to get the hell out of here as soon as the thing is done. And then we just repeat patterns. It's generational trauma. Different cultures, different ways. The other cultures are like, we get together and we scream at each other and we express it all. And when we're together, if I'm mad at you, I'm going to tell you exactly what I know. And then other cultures watch that and go, what's wrong with those people? They're crazy. But then some other cultures are like, yeah, we screamed it all out and then we hugged it out and then we danced and drank some wine and we're really excited about seeing each other next weekend. Okay, so it's learned. Mm-hmm. It's all learned. And you were not taught how to feel your feelings. Like I was taught in my house was, if you have nothing nice to say, you say nothing at all. Children are to be seen and not heard. Before we went into a restaurant or out for dinner somewhere, my father would park the car, then he'd turn back in the seat and he'd say, I'm letting you know. And he might maybe adjust his belt just to let you know he does have his leather belt on. Just letting you know, I expect this to be a manners meal. You know exactly what that means. And everybody gets out of the car and you walk in and you're really the best behaved children in the world. Mabel, if you're able, get your elbows off the table. This is not a horse's stable. This is a friendly dining table, except it's not friendly. And so, Janet, I get you. And now you're sick and healing and you're now realizing, listen, if I don't break through this shame pride loop, because pride is going to keep me stuck in the story of she was mean to me. And I could fall down into the anger over that story. She was mean to me and I was sick and she should have been there for me. And what the hell? And I don't care that she's scared. And I don't care that she needs to get out every last thing because she thinks I might be dying. And I don't care. And then we fall down into desire. Well, I just want to get better. And so I'm just going to forgive everybody. And then we fall down into fear. Oh my God. And then we fall down and then we fall and we fall and then we hit shame. And who I am is not good enough. And what I did was not good enough. And the way I raised these kids was not good enough. Does that resonate?
100%.
So if we were to imagine right now, let's pretend, because you might really be up resonating in love and I just love my kid. Here's the thing. If you really were truly resonating up in love, where you're like, I just want everyone to get along, they wouldn't actually trigger you. And the fact that they're not seeing eye to eye right now, if we really truly were empowered, we would be able to see it through different lenses. So it's nothing to blame ourselves. It's just, I'm looking at this through the lenses right now, and I haven't broken through that loop yet because it's a brain thing. It's your nervous system. It's your vagus nerve. It's your emotions. It's brain patterns that have to be disrupted, almost like an addiction. Like, to me, that's what an addiction is. We get addicted to grief. We get addicted to anger. We get addicted to fear. We get addicted to anxiety. Like, our body becomes so physiologically addicted to the rumbling all the time that when it gets peaceful and calm, it's like we're going through withdrawal. I don't even know what to do with myself. I'm happy. Ooh. I need to like get in there and find out what's going on with my daughter and Steve. I need to bring on some of that because I don't know how to actually just operate on my own in joy. So this is a learned thing for all of us, ladies, every one of us, being able to actually separate and realize I am not my mother, but I am my mother's daughter. But I'm as different of a human being from my mother than I am from my husband. I'm my own person. And I am not my children, and they are not me. They have their own hot air balloon to get into, to soar in their own life. And I can't actually take anyone in my hot air balloon, except if I had a little baby, she'd have to come with me because I would have to feed her, nurse her maybe. So got to take the baby. Other than the baby, once those kids are standing on their own 2 feet, they got their own hot air balloon. So now you're in your hot air balloon and you're really ready to lift off. So now you have to take the baggage, the rocks that are weighing you down, and let go of them so that you can naturally, effortlessly rise back up into who you truly are, who you just really are. Because the beautiful thing is once you realize you're not anything lower, you truly, the essence of who you are, is so high vibing and so light and loving and bright that this is a lot of work to stay down here. It's exhausting to be unhappy. It is exhausting to have to carry the weight of your children and your husband. Emotionally, you think you have to. So what if you were to say, I accept, maybe we say it out loud, I accept, she doesn't even know what she's accepting. She just trusts me blindly. I accept that I have learned to carry the weight of the world.
I accept that I have learned to carry the weight of the world and everybody else's world in my life.
There's another laugh of truth. I accept that I somehow took on conditioning.
Somehow took on conditioning.
I took on a story and I've believed.
I took on a story and I believed
that their emotions were somehow mine to fix or heal or make better.
That their emotions were somehow mine to fix or heal or make better.
And I accept that I have literally zero control over how they feel.
And I accept that I have literally zero control over how they feel.
Like that just felt like holy. And I accept that if I choose to rewrite this script, I could let go of that responsibility.
And I choose,
you don't have to worry about it. How does that feel? How do you feel, Janet, when you say, like, what if I could accept?
I want to rewrite the story completely.
Yeah. And here's the thing. It very rarely gets rewritten completely like that, because here's the thing about our bodies. I love her laugh of truth again. It's like titrating the Titanic. Okay. You're never going to it's very, very rare that we have healings. And I'm going to call it loosely the word healing, meaning heal thyself. Heal thyself, healthy. It's very rare that we can get healthy and what healthier. And when I say healthy, it doesn't always mean cancer free. It might be, I'm so at peace with who I am. I have no symptoms and everything's in remission. And I'm living life joyfully. So I'm not attached to a specific outcome, but I am attached and accepting of the realization that bit by bit, I really can turn the trajectory of things. And you're doing that. Listen, miracles sometimes happen like that. Like the truth is, sometimes you just go, whoa, holy I don't have to look at it that way anymore. oh my God, freedom. I just feel instantly free. And sometimes it feels like, okay, I feel instantly free, but now I have to go back to my life. And I don't know that I'm going to be able to maintain this strength day in and day out without a bit of a plan in place to help me navigate things. So in empowerment coaching, we always do emotions first and strategy second. Like I would never give someone advice because I'm not in your shoes. So you will know the right next step. You'll feel it. And I can guide you with some questions to help you navigate and figure out what would be just the next step. I'm not very big on creating to-do lists. And I'll tell you why. I don't mean you don't say, what is my highest producing activity today and write 3 things down. But I'm not big on like overwhelming lists because they paralyze you. And it's kind of like analysis paralysis. There's too much to do. So if someone had said to me, okay, 2.5 years ago, by the way, Crystal, in the next year, you're going to lose 60 pounds and you're going to you're going to make massive changes in your marriage and you're going to make it, and then you're going to do this and then you're going to do that. And then in 2 years from now, you're going to launch a podcast and then you're going to write another book and then you got to do this, and you better spend the money on this, and then you're going to do this. And then, oh yeah, Leslie, and you're going to put a retreat on down in Mexico. And then, oh, by the way, that's going to happen and that's going to happen and that's going to happen and that's going to, you just go, that seems overwhelming. I don't think I'm chosen for this. This is too much for me. So I always just say to women, okay, let's help remind you of who you really are. Like Janet, if you could think back to a time in your life, and it just has to be, and it doesn't have to be like some incredible moment, but just a moment that you felt that feeling, the sun setting, standing on the beach, warm sand under your feet, the water lapping in, and just for a moment, your worries were washed away. Can you remember any memory? Can you just think of something? You went to the East Coast this summer, did you not?
Mhm.
Do you have any moment on that trip that there was a moment of just, wow, look at this beautiful place?
Yeah, most of the trip was like that.
Okay, so pick one moment. Just pick one moment in your mind. They don't have to compete. We're not competing for anything right now. We're just going to pick a moment. If you could close your eyes and let's do this again, because here's the thing, ladies, your imagination is your greatest tool for healing. Your imagination is your greatest tool. So let's imagine that we're back in that place. Every one of us can do it. Pick a memory that you loved. Just everyone pick something. And you might have 50 memories that like, I was happy that they're not competing. We just want one. Let's go with it. Where are you? What are you doing? Are you alone or is someone with you? What's the environment like? Is it sunny? Are you outside? Are you inside? Is it raining, cloudy, gorgeous, bright, heat, cold? Breathe it in. Breathe more of that into your body right now, like you're there. Feel it inside you, down into your body, all the way down from your throat, feeling it coming down and slowing down all the churning, feeling it come all the way down into your solar plexus, bringing all that love and joy and happiness into your body now. And if you could just describe yourself in that moment, just 2 words, the words that come up for you, anchor those words in now. Like just really feel those words. And then as you're in that kind of place of like, this is who I really am when I'm happy. You can even say, I am, and then say those 2 words. And then just gently bring your awareness back to the room. That was pretty easy. You just remembered who you really are. That's really easy. That's how easy it is. So what words describe you in that moment, Janet?
Joyful and carefree.
I am joyful and carefree. Say that a few times for me. Just say it out loud. Don't stop. I'm going to tell you when I want you to stop.
And carefree. I am joyful and carefree. I am joyful and carefree.
Slow down.
Carefree.
Really feel it. I am joyful and carefree.
I am joyful and carefree. I am joyful and carefree. I am joyful and carefree. I am joyful and carefree. I am joyful and carefree.
How does that feel? When you say that, how does that feel?
Feels good.
Yeah. Yeah. Because the truth feels good. And the truth will set you free. And when we live true to who we really are, the choices we make, just so different than when we get pulled into other people's drama. And then we have to start thinking like it's somehow your job to no longer to be joyful and carefree. Suddenly you have a new job, and it's to be unhappy and careless, to be unhappy and careful. Whatever word you want to throw in there, the opposite. So the truth is, I bought into a story a long time ago that being a good mother and a good wife meant I couldn't just remain joyful and carefree. And I see your smile of truth and the nodding of your head. Tell me what that feels like for you.
Yeah, that resonates so much with how I feel. Like I'm responsible for everybody else to be happy, but I've forgotten about me.
So what if you now adopted a new thing that said, I'm not only not responsible for everybody else to be happy, that is a crazy expectation of any human being. Could you imagine if all of a sudden you in your mind literally was like, it's my daughter's job to make sure that I'm happy? Do you think your daughter would take that job on?
No. She'd
It's
say,
Steve. You have a job to do, and it's to make me happy. So everything you do as you go about your day, you should be constantly thinking about what you could do to make me happy. How long do you think Steve will be able to keep up that job and do it well?
not long.
So why would it be your responsibility to keep Steve happy? That's actually an impossible task that nobody could do. So if we could now just move through the empowerment spectrum and we were to think about the different communication styles on the empowerment spectrum, passive is at the very bottom of the spectrum. I'll even put a little image of the empowerment spectrum up. But passive is at the very bottom. And passive is a communication style that we have deep inside that says something like, it is what it is, and there's nothing I can do about it. There's not a lot I can do about it. And here's what's crazy. Do you have any women I've heard over the years say, I'm a pacifist? And I think that is about the opposite of empowerment as one can possibly be. Peaceful is at the top of the empowerment spectrum. Passive is as disempowered as a human being can be. And the minute you think to yourself, there's nothing I can do, you disempower yourself. And so that would move us up a little bit, which might move into passive aggressive. Let's just move up the spectrum. Passive aggressive is, this sucks. I don't like it. I don't want to do this anymore. And I'm angry that I have to keep doing this. And I don't know how to get my needs met. So I'm just trying so hard to make everybody happy. And I can't make anybody happy. And I'm going to watch Netflix for the next month. And I'm going to not feel good about myself. And I'm just going to hope that everybody around me sees what they're putting me through. I love the way, do you see I'm a bit of an actress? Janet, talk to me.
Yep, that certainly resonates from years ago and still today. I think there's a part of me that's still passive aggressive.
Well, I think everyone is until they learn how to really learn how to communicate in a way that they realize I can always tell my truth and I never, ever, ever have to abandon myself. Emotionally, financially, mentally, physically, sexually, I never have to abandon myself in order to make something work in life. And if I think I have to abandon myself. I'm disempowering myself and I'm passive and passive aggressive. Okay. Does that resonate?
Mm-hmm.
So let's imagine we kept climbing up the spectrum and then we hit where Steve is. She was mean to you. And I now need to stand up for you because clearly you don't know how to stand up for yourself, wife. You don't know how to set boundaries. You don't know how to speak your truth. You don't even know how to tell your children how you truly feel. And I would even assert, Steve, you don't have a clue either. I see Ellen laughing. Steve thinks he knows exactly how Janet feels, and he don't even know neither. Because Janet isn't telling anyone the truth. Janet, talk
True.
to me, sister.
True.
Yeah. The truth is, I never learned how to express my feelings ever in my life. And I'm so angry at all these people around me that they can't read my mind. What the hell's wrong with them? Why are they not giving me what I need? And they expect me to give them what they need?
That's it.
I am just like my daughter. I am just like my daughter. I'm just like my daughter. I'm just like my daughter. I am just like my daughter. I'm just like my daughter. Oh my God, my daughter learned it from me. I'm just saying that just for shits and giggles. What does it make you feel, Janet, when I say it?
That's true.
So, how about we do this now? Just like you said, because here's the truth, there is a part of you that's like your daughter, and there is a part of your daughter that's just like you.
Mm-hmm.
And the part of your daughter that you love is just like you. And the part of your daughter that pisses you off the most is just like you. And Steve thinks he has to be in the middle like a referee between a goddamn mother and her daughter. And that will never work because no man, especially a stepfather, is ever going to come in between a mother and her daughter. So, Steve, I've given you a job that was never yours.
Truth.
And I need to take back my power. And I need to start having honest conversations, but they're going to start first with me, myself, and I. And if I could bust through the pride, which is she hurt me. Do you know who I am? Do you know what I've been through? Do you know what my childhood was like? You think yours is bad? You don't have a clue, kid. Is that true too, Janet?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we need to not only have the camera on me. You need to now speak.
Yeah, I mean, the same, like the way that I was raised was exactly like, keep your mouth shut. It was never any abuse or anything, but it was always like my feelings were never validated, right?
So
So
I am now continuing to treat
yes.
myself the way that I was treated as a child. And I'm
Mhm.
somehow expecting my children to break this generational trauma for me.
Mhm.
So even when my daughter had the courage to come to me and tell me how she felt, I couldn't be responsible enough for my own feelings to just say, let's go out for a cup of tea and talk. And then let's take a walk in a few days and just walk. And then maybe next week we could just have a cup of tea. And then bit by bit, you'll start to see the real me as a woman. And I'll get to know you as a woman. And I really hope that soon you're going to be able to see me for the woman I really, really am. And I'm going to get to see you for the woman that you really, really are. Because you're my daughter and I love you. And we have to get Steve out of the picture here because he loves me. And he just is trying to protect me. And I haven't done a good job at protecting myself. And I don't need to protect myself from you because you're my kid and we're going to be fine. Now, I don't even know if any of that's true. What do you think, Janet?
No, that sounds amazing. And it's not like he's getting involved. It's she's the one who brought him into it, saying, well, how come he doesn't, what's he doing? Is he gonna apologize for, whatever drama was created? If he's not going to apologize, I don't know how that's going to affect our relationship.
Yeah. And I totally would validate your daughter and say, I can understand that. I accept that. You know how we did the acceptance of the churning?
Yeah.
Imagine if you could say to your daughter, I don't like it and
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with it. And I wish it didn't happen, but I did. It did. And now and as I say that, it's like there's a realization of like, I don't like it either. I don't like it either. I don't like how you and Steve are getting along. I don't like it for you. I don't like it for him. I don't like it for any of us. I don't like it either. Like when we have to like fight the righteous fight, it's like we can't just actually all say the truth. Like the truth is we're all angry. And you know what I'm really hearing under it is jealousy and competitiveness between your husband and your children fighting for mommy, fighting for you and your love. And they're all kind of competing with each other. And they all just want you to be happy. That's what, like, why does he get to be? Why do you love him still? And you're not mad at him, but you're mad at me. And if he doesn't apologize, and then Steve's saying, well, if she doesn't apologize, and you just want to be like, grow the fuck up, both of you.
That's what I said. I said, you guys, if you can't do it for yourselves, then do it for me.
They're not. Okay, Sarah, she just used guilt there.
Yes,
You're so stuck in the pride shame loop that you're like,
yes,
do it for me, do it for me, get along with each other for me. Well, that never will work. That's force.
yeah.
So power is, what would courage have you do for you, Janet? Now that you know that you created a dynamic where, for whatever reason, you didn't feel comfortable being able to really express how you feel. And now you want to do it differently. And you're part of this equation too. And you can't change Steve and you can't change your daughter, but here's what you can change: you. And you can change how you've been doing it. And you can catch yourself. And when your daughter starts to go, I know, but you say, I know, but I'm not going to do it that way anymore.
Okay.
I know. I don't like it either. And I accept that it got to a point that we all got a little ugly and it got messy and everybody was in fear. And I found out I had cancer and everybody was freaking out and nobody knew how to deal with their sorrow and their fear and their anger. And it imploded on all of us. And I'm getting healthy. And I'm ready to heal myself. And I have to do this for me, guys. So you guys got to figure out what you all want to do. But Janet, what would courage have you do right now? Like one single step around this. What would courage have you do?
And I think I'm gonna have to kind of leave them
Yes.
and say to Steve, you know what, we have to separate your relationship with, because she doesn't live in this province. So it's not as though she's coming to visit us or anything. So I don't have that dynamic right now. But at least just saying, you know what, I'm going to be the one that goes where she is, and he's not going to come anyways because he's
Go
going to,
without her. Why would you want him to come?
right.
Just go see your daughter.
He
Just
deals with
go
the
see
dog.
your daughter without your husband. Go spend some time with your daughter. She has a new baby. Go see your daughter and your grandchild and spend some time with your daughter. And when you realize that you're starting to drive each other crazy, go to a hotel and then go back and have breakfast out somewhere where you can hang out and have coffee, and then go back to your hotel.
Yeah.
And keep boundaries and don't talk about Steve. And when she starts to bring up Steve, this is what you say: I know it was really hard. It was really hard.
Okay.
And I'm sorry that it was so hard. And you don't say, this is what kids can't deal with, but it's the past and don't bring it up anymore. You can't say it's shit like that. You have to say things like, I know it was hard. And if I knew then what I know now, I would have done it differently. I wish I could have. And I'm sorry. And I love you. And forgive me. And I just want to make it better from this point on. And then if she's a shithead, then she's a shithead. But then you don't have to take on her. Then you have to realize, okay, I can continue to stay neutral at least. I don't have to pour love on her, but I don't have to pour any anger on her. And I don't have to apologize anymore. I don't have to feel guilty anymore. I've made my amends. I said, I'm sorry. I love you. Forgive me. We're going to do it differently from this point on. And then you have to just keep doing it differently. You. And they might keep falling back into old patterns because they're not aware like you are. And they're not in a health crisis that you are. And I always say necessity is the mother of invention. Because once you need something, you will invent exactly what you need to do to get those needs met. And they don't need to do this healing right now in their mind's eye, but you do.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're going to do this for you. So what would courage have you do this week, Janet, for you, not your husband and not your daughter? What would courage have you do this week for you?
For me this week, I would like to start my studies for pet. For me.
I love the laugh of truth. It's the best time that you now start putting your energy into empowering yourself. Empower yourself. And the rest will take care of itself. Janet? So what are you going to do this week? You're going to go to your SWAT library. You're going to open up your next lesson. You're going to do your next assignment and you're going to upload it and you're going to check the little checkbox that says complete. Ding. And then you're going to go.
That was easy.
I feel better. I just took all that energy that I was just spinning and spiraling and focused it in on something. And action is the antidote to despair.
Ooh, I like that.
So now you're just going to take some inspired action and you won't have time or even the energy to think about being sad anymore because you got shit to do. You got a course to finish. You got women to help. You got a life to live.
Focus on the courses that I'm in instead of looking for more to join.
Don't let yourself buy another thing. No, you're also going to put yourself on take your credit card, cut it up and go, no, I memorized it. I think that's Janet. Janet is one of those women who have memorized her credit card number. She knows the numbers off by heart. Like someone asked me, like, did you want to buy? I go, I don't know. Do I have a credit card? I'll have to go find that credit card. Janet's just like, I'll just buy another one. I'll buy another one. I'll buy another one. If I buy enough books that I never read, somehow through osmosis, I'm going to become enlightened.
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Janet. Thank you for such a great conversation today. Ladies, I got to say that I love empowerment coaching because time and time again, we do have a laugh. We do talk about hard things, but inevitably, there's a shift that always happens. And when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And I would love right now for you to take a deep breath and do what we do. Let's finish the call the way we started it. Let's put 2 feet on the floor. Sit tall. I always look at those sits bones. Pull the little meaty butt out. Sit tall. Breathe that in, what just happened. Because I know something in this conversation landed exactly where it needed to for you. And exhale. And just breathe in whatever you needed today and think about what you took away from that conversation. What spoke to you? What shifted inside of you? Because empowerment isn't just about hearing the truth. It's about choosing what you do with it. So take a moment again to feel it, to own it, and to decide what comes next for you. Empowerment equals choice. And if today's session moves something inside of you, don't keep it to yourself. Please share this episode with another woman who needs it. Make sure you've subscribed to my podcast, because next week we're going even deeper every week. And if you're ready for real transformation, if you want to step into a whole new work at a whole new level, maybe you even might want to join our empowerment coach certification. We are getting started March 25th for our master empowerment coach certification. And this is just the beginning, because here's the truth. You are powerful beyond measure. And now it's time to rise. Until next time, be simply woman.
1, 2, 3, 4.
That's it for today's episode of the Simply Woman podcast. If something shifted for you today, don't stop here. Take the next step. If you want to be coached live on the show, join us inside the Simply Woman podcast studio. Sign up now at www.swatinstitute.com/podcast-join-live. Now make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you're ready to go even deeper, check out the Master Empowerment Coach Certification, because the world needs more women leading the way. And now I leave you with just one question. What would courage have you do?